So if I think back the last 5 years, it takes us back to the first quarter of 2009, which actually turned out to be the low point in the whole crisis for Visa. Of course, we didn't know that that was going to be the low point at the time, so I think we and many other businesses were really frozen in the shock of so many things happening. So it really took us right back to basics. The basics of managing the risks in the business, of demonstrating that we were still a viable business. And if I think then across the rest of the time, we had a high point in 2012 with the London Olympics, which for Visa and many of the other big sponsors was a real focus time for us. So an opportunity to get out and do some really exciting marketing and PR attached to that. For us, it was a big focus around innovation. So the first games where contactless payments were a big thing, we were able to bring journalists in from right across Europe to demonstrate and see the world's biggest showcase at the time. So a real high point for the business, for our employees, made everybody feel very proud. I think it made every Londoner feel really proud. And then in the 18 months or so since then, for my business specifically, we've seen a new CEO coming in. For many comms directors, that's a rather angsty time because you're always wondering what's going to happen to strategy, how is the relationship going to work. I work directly for the CEO, so it really matters whether I get on with him. And what I've seen is somebody who's come in, taken a really strategic view of the business, has a very clear plan within a remarkably short period of time, absolutely believes that communication, first of all with employees and then with our shareholders and stakeholders, is really important, and is now beginning to look out and challenge me around what's Visa going to be famous for in the coming months. In the last 5 years, given the economic crisis that all businesses have been through, I think the focus on risk in the business, identifying risks really quickly, working out how to manage and mitigate those, has become an increasing focus for the CEO and for boards of directors. And that's reflected very much in the time that I think many other communication directors have spent. So it really is about protecting the business. There's an increased emphasis on demonstrating that we're doing business in the right way, and that means real changes in behaviour, not just mitigating things with communication tactics, but really demonstrating that business is changing. There have been increasing reporting requirements, certainly for listed businesses, and even for those of us who aren't listed, the expectation is that we will demonstrate and do more than we're actually expected to do. So our annual report, for example, focuses now much more on the process of risk identification and mitigation, of the way that we manage all of the risks coming into the business, and we ensure that the systems are working and so on. For me, the PRCA is really important on a number of different levels. It's very good for sharing best practice, for networking, and I also think the work that's being done in terms of developing new talent is important. So it means that I'm able to go to events where I hear about some of the new techniques coming along, things like improved ways of managing reputation and measuring reputation management, which I may well take on and use within my own organisation. I'm able to find out what my peers across the industry think and what experiences they have of trying to measure something as intangible as reputation. I said that I thought that what we're doing in terms of bringing new talent on board is really important, and I'm very proud of the fact that we have 2 apprentices on the scheme that the PRCA is managing, and they're finding it really exciting and interesting to gain new knowledge and understanding. And more broadly, I'm encouraging the whole of the team to get out of bed early and go to some of your early events, or just find out what's going on, get the best practices, get some education at very good rates.